35 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBurnKiaPanamaCity.com. The road is yours.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 K4 with $22.09 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Burn Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/31/26.
You've been low-key thinking about dropping a podcast. Well, now is the time to start, brah. Sports, politics, finance, science, health, real estate, music, interviews, surfing, conspiracy theories, or alien abductions. Ready to main character your own content? We can make it happen with Turnkey Podcast Productions from 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. Our local, modern, state-of-the-art multimedia recording studio is now available for booking, starting at just $100 an episode. Take your faith and him to the next level. For more information, text the keyword studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio to 850-215-6290. Text studio 215-6290 or jam over to ESPNPC.com. Bruh.
WGSX Nathan, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Stand by. On my mark.
You survived the workday. Now survive the truth.
Don't you want to have the best 12 teams in college football playing each other?
It's time for the hardest hitting 2 hours on the Panhandle.
I love it. You're coming through. You got it, baby.
Now into the huddle with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz.
It is a joyous day. I love your show.
From the Emerald Coast to the edge of the atmosphere.
You gentlemen lift us up every day.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What it do, people? It's the homie Lil Cash. Right now you tuned in with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. The hottest sports show in the South. Let's go. It's Lil Cash with another hit with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. Where they talk trash and they talk ish. When it comes to sports, man, they too legit. It's 104.3 ESPN. If you love sports, better chime in. NFL, college, local sports, they got it. NBA, they got it. Sports Blitz, the topic. The show hottest wasabi. Better tune in and go watch it. Hey, Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. If you even tried, you can't stop it. Bone Crusher gon' pop it. No Jeff gon' pop it. Go like, comment, subscribe, and share. Right now.
We are live and local right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for Orlando Magic basketball. Don't forget tonight, tip-offs at 6 o'clock right after the show. The Magic trying to stay in the winner's side of things tonight. Don't forget as well, you can be a part of the show, 850-215-6290, the Red 7T's phone line. Red 7T's, your spot for all things custom apparel right here in the Panhandle. As always, on a Monday, I'm excited because Brian Haddon's back in the building. Brian, how you doing, man?
Just happy to be back in the state.
Yeah, riding around on airplanes and being delayed on airplanes.
Yep.
And being so what's the best food that you've ever had waiting on an airplane?
Well, what stinks is I don't really eat when I travel, and it sucks because there's a lot of good options at a lot of these airports and stuff. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't venture out too wild on that just for fear of, percolating on a plane, if you will. So I stay with pretzels.
There you go. All right. And as always, on a Monday, Jeffrey is in the building. Jeffrey, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. A lot of people had their brackets busted.
Yeah. Yep. And you're acting like yours isn't busted.
You know it.
I haven't lost a game yet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we got a special guest in the VMix board. We got Randy here. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good. Everything good over there?
Yeah. How's Louisville doing?
They actually went home over the weekend.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah,
I thought they did.
So,
yeah.
There you go.
I got an update. You ready for it?
Yeah.
I know how you hate women's sports, but here we go.
Oh my God.
Louisville women beat Alabama today. Boom!
Go the Tide!
I knew it was close.
By one point. Yeah, that's good.
It was
that's
a good
great.
game. All kidding aside, I watched most of it during lunch today. It was really good.
Wow, you and maybe 4 other people.
Yep.
But either way, great day to be here in this beautiful state of Florida. But we've got to go ahead and get into this. We can't not talk about it. It's the talk of the town. It's the talk of the state. The Florida Gators have been bounced from the tournament, and we're not happy. A lot of people aren't happy. So either way, when you look at everything, I watched the game from tip-off until the last bell rang. And, Brian, let me ask you this. Being back-to-back is so hard to do in anything, and knowing how tough that their road was going to be. Before the bracket started, were you thinking they were going to go this early, or was you thinking maybe they would get to the Elite Eight, Final Four?
I honestly, I thought Final Four. I mean, when you have a team, I've always felt better about teams that have a strong front court.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you can win a championship on a back court, but to me it's a little bit riskier. Front court's usually a little more solid, more sound, more consistent. You take that into conjunction with the fact that they were probably playing as good as anybody in the country down the stretch, save for the one game with Vanderbilt, but then they looked like they had bounced back fine from that. So, yeah, I think it was shocking. I think Final Four, when you get into that, you never really know because there are several other teams that could win it. But, yeah, I was very surprised that they went out, not to take anything away from Iowa. But, talk about a team that was not playing well down the stretch. I think Iowa had lost like 8 of their last 11 down the stretch. I mean, they were not playing well going into the tournament. And that just shows you basketball is one of those sports where, can't say on any given Sunday, but it was a Sunday, and sure enough, that's the way it played out.
Jeffrey, you have not been a believer of the Gator team for the last 3 weeks. You've said that in the SEC tournament that they would lose. They did lose.
But it was more, I said it was more of an intentional thing.
Right.
Take a little break. Don't play all the games you really need to play. Don't get all hustled and worn down before you get to the big show.
Yeah.
But then I turned around and basically doubled down on it, and I had them losing in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And I had Houston going. And so that's part of the reason why I feel like extra confident. Plus, I'm going through all the brackets of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think there's every so often I'll notice a pattern. I'm like, man, look at how many people picked TCU over Ohio State. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Majority of the people picked TCU on that one. And I was thinking, I got this VCU and I got this High Point and I got St. Louis, but I couldn't believe how many picked that one. And in the second round, people were picking teams and everything. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but
look at how many people getting on this boat of these different teams.
Yeah, but the Florida game, game, when you watch it, what was your mind going on seeing the beginning of the game, how it kind of got away from the Gators early on, and it kind of set a precedent, but it also gave Iowa a lot of confidence going into the half?
Well, here's the thing about all these games. Every single day, somebody's dropping down by double digits.
Yeah.
Like Duke in the first round, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say I was hitting the panic button, but you got my text.
Yeah.
I said, look at this team up by 10. Look at this team up by 12, And then reality sets in, and the other team comes back and wins it, and it's not an upset. I keep on hitting alarms for upsets, and then, Florida, I really wasn't hitting the panic button because I saw the first round. And the 2 teams that really impressed me in the first round, it was Michigan and it was Florida.
Yeah.
And how many people pick these teams to win the whole thing. And you can't just because somebody does something in the first round doesn't mean the second round is going to be exactly the way. Because, like you say, it's matchups.
It always is about matchups. And when you look at how long the backcourt of Iowa was, when you look at how good they could shoot the three, when you look at how good they played fundamental basketball, when they block out, a lot of times the Gators were only getting one shot at the basket, and when they would, there would be nobody down there. Now, having foul trouble on two of your better players in the latter parts of the game, that hurts a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I've noticed that when these teams that are struggling on, it's usually because of the foul trouble that happened, and that's exactly what happened with them. You know, there was an issue with the jump ball. Did you see the jump ball part?
I did not.
Okay, so, you know, we got to talk about it when a player, it all was to me about whether or not the whistle was blown. Two people had the ball, and then all of a sudden Condon jerks the other player down as they roll. You see the Iowa player come up with his hand to go and punch, but he punches the ball. Now, punching the ball instead of punching a player, it's still a punch. I still don't understand it. Now, I'm on the flip side of, and obviously, you know, it is what it is. This is one of those things where, but they took it to replay and they said, well, he punched the ball. And is punching the ball after the whistle, is that something that, you know, deserves to be kicked out of a game, or is it just a part of the technical foul? Because both of them gets a technical foul. The ball was taken, you know, the player had the ball so strongly, Condon did this and pulled him down, and then he rolls on top of Condon, punches, and he punches at, it looked like him from one angle, and Todd Golden absolutely come unglued, and then he started talking to the other coach, and then they started having words, and then, you know, what they did was, in the end result, it was ended up being a technical for both, and, you know, possession goes to Iowa. So, for me, I don't know. Being a referee, you got to have that kind of stuff under control. And for me, it didn't seem like it was under control.
Well, I agree with that, and I didn't see the exact play, so it's hard for me to get into the details of the exact play. I'll tell you in general, I don't like when you have to interpret intent.
Yeah.
So I've never liked that. And look, in a big-time tournament game, ejection should be absolutely last possible resort. I'm fine with flagrants or whatever they call it in college, technical this or whatever. I don't know if they do flagrant 1, flagrant 2 or not. But I'm fine with that. But it should be like unbelievably egregious. And quite frankly, I know most people say call it the same all the time. Now, in the tournament, I think it's different.
Yeah.
So to me, it would need to rise to a whole nother level for an ejection in an NCAA tournament game where it's one and done. So based on what I know of the incident, I'm glad they didn't rise to an ejection, because I think you would have had to have tried to guess intent a little bit more than I'm like, it needs to be super egregious. Yeah. And quite frankly, as much as, you know, I mean, attempted murder and murder have the same, you know, concept. It's just one turned out different. But in this, if you're going to eject him, I almost think he needed to connect with him physically, you know, face or something like that. So I don't have a huge issue with the way it played out. It's unfortunate, you know, for Florida. It didn't go their way. But, yeah, I'm just not a fan of kicking people in tournament games.
So ironic that he was the one that hit the final three-pointer to win the ball game, too. So it's just kind of crazy how that works out.
I watched so much basketball, I can't even remember what this play was from.
Really?
No, not the one you're talking about. There was one where a guy went to go try and save the ball from going out of bounds, and the bigger, taller guy, I think it was a Florida guy, boxed him out.
Yeah.
And then he pushed him afterwards, and he got called for a foul after the ball's like falling out just when he's pushing him. Was that the Florida game, or was that the Tennessee-Virginia game?
I'm not 100% sure.
Man, a lot of basketball to watch.
but I mean, so since you've watched a lot of it, you know, talking about this game specifically, I didn't feel like the fouls again, they allowed different ones to do different things. And as the game got closer and tighter, it seemed like they kind of got back to the old school way of, we're going to call some touch fouls here where we did not call them in the beginning of the game. And I think as it gets over, we kind of discussed it last week, and we talked about, you know, how in the college football playoff, there seemed to be like a meeting of the referees that, hey, we're not going to call this. We're going to allow this. Let's push it. Let's let the game go how this goes. But it doesn't seem so much with the basketball. It seems like they've called it kind of consistently as the game they kind of call it as the game gets tighter, and that's kind of part of the par for the course.
I'll be honest, in basketball, it can get away from you quicker too.
It can.
So I don't mind the officials having a little shorter leash in the basketball. What was surprising to me in looking at this, if you'd have come into the game and said, I was going to win the game by 1, what do you think the story is going to be? I would have guessed they would have shot 45, 48% from 3. You know, Florida would have dominated front court, dominated the boards and that. If you look at this is about as statistically even a game as I've ever seen.
Yep.
I mean, they both shot almost identical from the field, from 3. In fact, free throw line, Florida outshot them. Fouls were about the same. Rebounds were about the same. Turnovers were about the same. There was nothing really that separated. And that's what was surprising to me, that I thought Iowa's front court stepped up a little bit. They were rebounding well. They played well. Their guard got the majority of their points with 20, but it was a good team. It's not at all what I would have expected in an Iowa victory, because they really didn't do anything outstanding other than match Florida.
And that was the biggest part of it going into this game. If you were to look at that team, you would say, just like what you said, you know, they're not that hot. They're not one of those teams that you're like, oh, man, you better watch out for them. They're going to be – no, but what did they do? They matched up with the way Florida plays, and you're exactly right. I was looking at that right before you said that. 24 rebounds. You know, they out-rebounded Florida by two rebounds, 2 boards. That's it. They had 3 more offensive boards than Florida did. And the thing is that, you know, thinking back, I was thinking, man, I think Iowa probably had a little bit better three-point shooting, but they really didn't. It was like 7 of 24 for 29%.
Yeah, they were actually worse than Florida from 3, not by much, but yeah, I mean, it like I said, statistically, this is about as even as a game as you will ever see. And
I just couldn't believe that, you know, there was that moment when Florida went up by 3 or 4. I thought, okay, here we go. Right. They're about to, and then all of a sudden, boom, they get a stop. And that, to me, was the biggest part of it, is that Florida just, for whatever reason, when they would get a stop, they got stopped. Or when they would allow a basket, then they would score. It was way more back and forth.
You know what, though? Generally speaking, if you think about Florida's last 10 games, they had, 9 wins and 1 loss. And in those, I can't think of any where you would have had a game where it got this close. Like, even in the loss, they were blown out.
Yeah.
Like, so that's maybe the one thing that maybe they hadn't done in a while, and it may have been a little bit of a shock to their system, that they were in a tight game where every kind of possession mattered, and you can tighten up in that. I know they won the national championship a year ago. I know they played big games early in the season and through the SEC schedule, but it's been a while to me since they've been in a tight game like that, and you can get rusty in those environments, and that's about the only thing I can come up with here.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I was thinking that they were going to really just take off. Once they were up 3, once they were up 4, I was like, okay, here we go. They're about to take it on, and then they just couldn't do anything. If I would have told you, though, Jeffrey, in the beginning that they would have scored more points in the paint than Florida, you would have said, I'm
crazy.
Right.
Absolutely bonkers.
But it was like they knew exactly, it was like they did their homework, they did their research, they knew exactly what they needed to do. They got some fouls early, which caused, you know, some of the guys to have to come out. But
what about the missed layups?
That's the bigger part.
Early.
And that was why they were able to go up by 12 and just be like, you know, missing layups, missing dunks. And, you know, we've got definite Florida fans around, and I was reading some of the things that they were talking about, and it was just that exactly. And it was so crazy for them to think. They said, okay, I was texting one of the guys from Florida, and he said, we should win this game because we should be losing by 20 by now, and we're not because of all of the missed shots. And that was one of the things that I was thinking, well, Florida's probably going to pull this out, and then, they're going to just, escape and move on. Is this a bigger upset than High Point winning the first round?
Actually, I think you shouldn't even ask that. I think you should have is VCU over North Carolina, who's a blue blood.
No.
Because that game was bigger than Wisconsin losing to High Point.
But that was because of the game. I don't think it was a bigger upset. It was bigger in the fact that they were down by 19 or whatever and came back. And
won. The largest.
That was nuts. That a smaller team like VCU would come back against a blue blood down that much.
Yeah.
I don't.
But North Carolina, with them losing their best player, that's a part of it. I mean, nobody had North Carolina.
Again, you're up by 19. I don't care who you lost. To me, this is. I think it's a bigger upset in the fact that every year we see a High Point.
Yeah.
Iowa's not a team that is an unknown. I can understand an unknown getting past a better team occasionally because they're just not as known. They could just be hot one night like this. Iowa's a known quantity. They've played a Big Ten schedule all year. Everybody's got film on everything that they do. They're not – we've seen enough on them to know they just shouldn't be in Florida's class.
Right.
So to me it was a little more surprising. And maybe that's just tempered with the fact that we've seen so many High Points in the first round, through the years and things like that. This one, seeing a 9 like that was playing really badly coming into the tournament, taking care of a team that was playing that good, that's really surprising.
That was to me because more than 25 million people had filled out the ESPN bracket. And after that loss, there was only 2 brackets that were perfect after that 25. So 25 million people had
both in the
Florida,
state of Iowa, clearly.
Right, had Florida going on to the next round for sure.
Okay, after
and
the
that
Florida
was,
loss.
Yeah, the Florida loss was, so that was why I was prefacing the question, because I do believe everybody watching Florida, seeing their body of work, knowing what they did against the bigger schools early on, seeing how they made that big long run at the end, everybody was kind of gearing up that Florida was going to be there at the end.
But also, like we saw in the first round, Florida did not struggle. Duke did.
Yeah.
There was a comparison there, and then we were like, oh, well, we feel confident about Florida moving on.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen.
And because that's kind of the tournament in itself. You play someone that you match up really well with, and you beat them like a drum, and then you match up with someone that they kind of got a little bit of the same look as you, as far as being long in the front court and just being able to rebound the basketball and to be able to block out and be able to not allow you to have second up shots and be able to make some shots, not a bunch.
But again, that's it's what throws me, because you expect if a team like an Iowa is going to beat a team like a Florida, they're going to do something exceptional. We're old enough to remember Villanova, Georgetown.
Yeah.
Villanova shoots 70% from the field in the national championship to beat Georgetown by less than 10. You're going to need something exceptional to beat a team. They didn't really do anything exceptional. They played solid basketball.
Yeah.
But that's what's throwing me. If I'm a Florida fan, it's I could understand if someone just had a night.
Yeah.
Okay, I would have a hard time dealing with this game because they didn't do anything exceptional, and they beat us. And that's what's throwing me.
And Florida, I know that Florida going into it, and he was on the platform talking, and you could just, he started crying. He kind of, it was emotional time, of course, but Florida beat themselves because exactly right. Iowa didn't do anything, didn't put any kind of pressure on them. Florida went to a full court press with about 6 minutes to go. It started working. Iowa broke it a couple times, hit a couple of shots, but Florida missing their shots. That's the part that they are going to have to get. And I'll tell you this, and we can discuss this later, but the guard play wasn't terrible for Florida, but I don't know. There was a part of me that they needed that point guard to be able to get to the lane a little bit more than he did. Lee couldn't get there, and Boogie didn't get there as much. And I don't know. It seemed like they didn't make the guards of Iowa play much defense, and they kind of played into the hand of, we're going to try to beat you in the paint, and Iowa's like, well, we're going to put everybody in the paint and make you beat us from the outside.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it happens.
They just matched them up well. It was almost like you were waiting on somebody from Florida to step out there and just have the team on their back and just somebody do it. And it wasn't that any of them shied away or crippled down. It just, no one really kind of stepped out there. It wasn't that they were bad. They just weren't sharp.
Yeah, that's right.
They weren't sharp.
Yep.
And they ran into the wrong team at the wrong time.
Yep, exactly. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we're going to discuss even more about this NCAA bracket. Let's see what you think about it. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Anna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The remainder of the day, a variety of slight fog and sunshine, and a temperature of 74 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a light breeze, and quite warm near 65. Partly sunny and 72 tomorrow. 71, and some sun with a light breeze Wednesday. This is your Monday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
Hi friends, my name's Amy McGowan and I'm a local residential realtor in Bay County with LPT Realty. I would love to help you buy, sell, or find your next investment property in Panama City Beach or the surrounding areas. Please call me today at 850-775-7885 or find me on my website at amyinpcbsellsre.com.
Lanier in transition, hits the three, and a sign of life from Knoxville. Land driving right. Lob for Brazil and a two-hand slam.
6 on the clock. Now with 5. He drives on Maddox. Right elbow with 3. Spins to the foul line. Jumper up and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Listen live exclusively on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
Pound the like and crush the subscribe. Follow us on social media for the latest sports news, scores, and updates. Keeping you in the game. The new Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back live and local right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for Orlando Magic basketball. Tonight's tip-off is at 6 o'clock. Right after the show, you'll be able to hear the magic right here. If you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is call in, text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. You know, we've been talking a lot about the tournament, and obviously we need to. I watched the Michigan game against St. Louis, and St. Louis, they were a good team coming in. They had some promise. Everybody was kind of high on them getting to that next round. And I'll tell you what, the Michigan Wolverines, they looked so good to me. And, you know, going up like they did and then just not ever kind of receding. It just seemed like for them, you know, winning by 23 was just like, to me, it was just a smack. So when you look at Michigan, Jeffrey, what do you think is going to be their biggest challenge? Because they got Alabama coming up, and there's a possibility for that Final Four or that Elite Eight getting to Iowa State, because Iowa State played some good basketball. But as far as Michigan looking for that Alabama game, what do you think about that one?
I don't really see a whole lot of flaws in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I think somebody that plays them has to be confident. And I've noticed a lot of teams that are really good. What they do is they're on offense. Okay, a lot of good teams are like this. They shoot the ball, and then you start running down the court like they're not going to rebound on the offensive end. It's like they've given up on that play with just shooting it one time and not getting in the offensive rebound. And if anybody plays Michigan and does that, it's over with. Because if you're not getting offensive rebounds, you're not going to have those second shots. You're totally relying on your percentage rate, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to beat Michigan. There's no way.
And that kind of goes into what you were talking about. Michigan is such a complete team that it's like what you were saying, that somebody's going to have to do something excellent. Somebody's going to have to go off for 30. Somebody's going to have 10, 20, rebounds, 15 offensive rebounds, all that kind of stuff. And so when you see someone like Michigan playing this good, and then you see all the other teams from the Big Ten making it to the next level, then it kind of makes Michigan really scary.
Yeah, it does. And look, if you're Alabama, this highlights the problem of not having Holloway more than anything up to this point, because you're going to need something exceptional to beat a team as fundamentally sound as Michigan is, and that can do so many good things. So you're going to have to shoot the ball extremely well, and you're going to have somebody go off for a big night. Now, Philon's been credible, but you now have fewer people to go off, so your chances go down. That's where Holloway not being there against Michigan is a problem. You need as many people as possible who have the opportunity to bust loose.
Yeah.
Alabama has one fewer than they would have had now.
Yeah.
And that's where you run into trouble against a team not only as good as Michigan, but as playing as sound as Michigan is right now. So.
And when you look at what Michigan did against St. Louis, and St. Louis, they hang their hat on second chance baskets. They hang their hat on being more athletic than you. That's what they did to Georgia. They're just that type of team that they just ran Georgia out of the building. They want to turn you over, and they want to have as many fast break points as they can. You know how many fast break points they had against Michigan? 10. And I mean, they had more than Michigan did. But almost every offensive category, 34 for 61 was Michigan, 11 from 23 from the three-point line, 18 of 23 from the free throw line, 40 total rebounds to St. Louis's 24. That's the problem. That's what you're talking about. You've got to be able to rebound the basketball, and that's what Michigan does, because they're big. They go after you. They try to get you in a matchup problem. And if they can ever get, I guess his name's Landeborg, whatever his name is, if they can ever get him one-on-one with somebody with no help, he's going to win that battle almost every time. He's the one that scored 23 points or 25 points on 9 of 13 shooting. And I mean, really, he's not a big three-point shooter, but he stepped out and hit 3 out of 5. So I mean, you got to be able to
60%.
Right, you got to be able to guard this guy.
And the team went 11 for 23.
Yeah,
on threes.
Yes.
Do you realize that's like 47%?
Yeah. It is.
That's insane. If you're 40, you're all happy.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. Alabama in their win over Texas Tech shot 45% from three. So if Alabama can come out and shoot 45, 50% from three, I don't care how good Michigan is, they're in it.
Yeah, they're in the game.
And look, they'll play. They haven't been known for their defense this year, but they're an SEC team. They can go physical against Michigan. But the problem is, if they shoot 30 to 35% from three, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They're going to have another big three night, and they're going to have to do it like Texas Tech. They got on them early.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 24 at the half or something like that, but they were shooting the ball extremely well from the perimeter. They're going to have another night like that, you know, not only to get up early, but also to get Michigan to maybe extend out. That's where you can maybe cut to the basket, create some chances, things like that. Again, where you miss a Holloway.
Yep.
But, you know, if Alabama has another 45-50% three-point night, they're absolutely in this game and could probably win it.
Yeah, and Holloway, he averaged 16 points a game. I mean, so you know that there's that scoring capability that somebody else has to do it. As far as looking at it right now, Michigan, Alabama, I mean, if Alabama's only hope is for it to be a high-scoring game, that's the only way that they're going to be able to do it. Because Alabama's the highest-scoring team in the country.
Yeah.
So that's why they have to play to their strength.
But if Michigan gets cold, that's what you also need.
Sure.
Well,
it would help out a lot.
But, I mean, when you look at Alabama's, you know, the way that they've gotten there, a little bit easier. A Texas Tech team that's been depleted by injuries, but Michigan, you know, they didn't really draw too big of a teams. But I just think that's going to be one of them games that if Alabama can get it into a crapshoot, if they can get them up and down the floor, shooting threes and making threes. And like you said, if he can get anywhere above 40% or above, then you're going to be able to look at that game and say Alabama's got a shot.
Here's the way I look at it. If I'm playing you know, in golf head-to-head for money, and I go, as long as I make all of my 15-foot putts, I'm going to beat you. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the likelihood of that continually happening is not great.
No.
It says if we need Alabama to shoot 45-50% from three, it can happen. That ain't real likely.
A tall task,
and I'm afraid that's kind of the kind of night they're going to need to beat Michigan, unless Michigan just flat lays an egg, which I have no evidence to see.
No, they haven't seen it. We're going to go ahead and go to the Red 7T's phone line. We got Big Nate on the line. Nate, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm back and ready to blitz, baby.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Have you been watching it? What is your take on some of these games that's been going on?
All right, well, before the tournament started, there was a lot of good matches in those championship games.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people making ways for themselves. And then for the first two rounds, it's just been incredible. The competition is just pretty stellar, in my opinion. There's a lot of teams that are really overachieving and making games very tight. Those buzzer beaters that they have, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you got to sit on your hands because you want to just like slap yourself. It's almost too close. But you guys are talking about threes and stuff, and I understand the three, okay? But as we get closer to the Final Four, and as teams are starting to find their identities, I really feel that the over-under, you were talking about golf just now, the thing you got to look at is he a scratch golfer or is he got a handicap? Mm-hmm. And the handicap in my book is going to be the free throw line. If you can draw them into causing fouls on you, if you can play those big men tight and get them in foul trouble early, then Michigan's not going to have much legs to stand on, even if as deep as they are. But Bama's got to come out and really put the hustle in the paint.
Yeah.
They really do. They've got to cause havoc. They've got to get the rebound, not so much the edge, but they got to keep up with the rebounds. And everybody else that's out there, I'm telling you right now, it's going to come down to free throws. It always does when you get later in the tournament. It's going to be the team that's shooting lights out at the line that's getting those extra points because maybe something's going on. They're guarding a little better on the outside. So I'm really interested to see how this all plays out, and I'm just worried because we talked about it before the tournament happened that these refs are going to eat their whistles.
Oof. Yeah.
And that's going to cause havoc on these teams that rely on that stripe to make up the difference where they're not able to maybe hit the three as often.
So out of all these teams that are still left in it, What team do you think would benefit from the refs not calling fouls?
Well, obviously Michigan. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if they give Michigan the opportunity to sit there and manhandle somebody and not call it, I mean, that's a serious disadvantage. Another team you got to really watch out for would be Arizona's still in it, I think.
Yeah. Or St. John's. They're a little rough.
SJ, man, I'm telling you, man, you cannot ever count those boys out. Those kids can play. And I think where you're really going to need to start looking is the teams that are really well coached. The teams that buy into what the coach's scheme is against the team that they're playing. And they didn't have a question about it. They just go out and execute to a high level. They're going to have the easiest time to get to the Final Four.
So with that being said, you've got some of the greatest coaches to ever coach college basketball in Rick Pitino, John Calipari, Izzo, and am I missing somebody else? I'm missing. Is that it? Is that the three? I think that's the three. If you could have one of those coaches to coach, who would you think would be able to out-coach these younger coaches that are there, Nate?
Well, either one of them could do it. I think it's more of the supporting cast at that point. I'd have to go with Coach P, man, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been through the fire. He's been there with 3 other teams to the Final Four. He's won a national championship, I believe, twice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm telling you right now that if he can get to that Final Four, he's making it to the final. He's going to do it. He's not going to let that, escape him.
He's got to beat Duke. I mean, that's not a tall task. I mean, that's a tall task, but it's definitely a doable.
Well, with his team and the way they're playing right now, I don't think they're scared of Duke, and that's what Duke needs to be afraid of. Is that when you get these teams, they're not looking at a team as like, oh, well, they're Duke, and they don't care. They're out there playing their hearts out, man, and they're going to put it all on the line. And I really think that team. I mean, I would love to see a Final Four with Arkansas and St. John.
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be some scoring.
Could you imagine? They were talking about that on the overrated or the morning show that I listened to.
Mm-hmm.
Overrated? Is it overrated?
Underrated, isn't it?
Underrated.
Yeah.
Those 3, they're really good. I should know the name. I'm sorry, but
that's all right.
ESPN puts out a good program early in the morning for me when I'm driving to work, and they always do a really good program, and it's fun, it's entertaining, not as good as yours. But,
thank you, I appreciate that.
And, I got to keep it local, right?
That's right.
But I'm telling you, thank you. These guys, I'm telling you right now, that's what they would like to see. If I could see that matchup with the 2 coaches,
yeah.
Oh man, it would be like. I mean, I'm almost wanting it to happen just so I could say I watched it.
Well, they've played each other a lot. We're bumped up against the break, Nate. We appreciate you, man, all the time. Thank you so much, my friend. But you got to think about it. Pitino joins Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim, the 3rd coach to reach the Sweet 16s in 5 different decades. He did it with Providence,
What? 5
UK,
decades.
The
Providence
Cardinals
would have been the 80s,
80s.
Kentucky in the 90s.
Wow. And twice with Louisville.
Yeah.
Twice with Louisville, and now with
this
St.
would be
John's.
his 4th different team into the Final Four because Providence got there in 87 or what it 6.
Something like
it was
that.
the year Alabama went.
Yep.
I think, or did they knock Alabama out in the Elite 8? Because when Mark Gottfried
86
and those
was the
guys were
Indiana
there.
year. 87 was.
No, 87 was Indiana. 86 was Never Nervous Purvis. I remember
that's
that,
right.
Louisville. So.
Yeah, Louisville.
I can't. They went I think it was 87 that they went with Pitino and Providence. But yeah, I mean, it would. I don't know though. Of those 3 to win a game in the tournament, I might go Izzo.
Izzo, he is so good at
like
winning
him in the
games.
tournament.
He does do good in the games.
Plus, I think he's got the best team of those 3.
That's true. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our next break. When we come out, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. The chaos lives here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida presents March Madness.
Living up to its name, the Madness. 3, top of the key, got it.
Catch every upset, every buzzer beater, and every heart-stopping moment of the NCAA tournament.
Right corner, he's going to take the 3, and he again!
Your home for the Big Dance is right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
That right there is the explanation point.
Crawfish season is back, and the heat is on at Lone Star Boil House. Lone Star Boil House is where the locals go for delicious, mouth-watering Cajun crawfish, shrimp, buttery red royals, and everything crab. Plus, Lone Star Boil House is now serving liquor. Get crawfish 6 days a week, open to close. To-go crawfish also available at the front bar, and crush the follow on Facebook for frequent food and drink specials. Lone Star Boil House, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
Looking to upgrade your truck? It's Blue Diamond Truck Accessories in Panama City. They sell, service, and install it all. Light kits, bed covers, bumpers, winches, lift kits, and any trailer hitch you can imagine. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, just west of Frankfort Avenue on 15th Street. Find Blue Diamond Truck Accessories on Facebook or call 850-914-0265. Blue Diamond Truck Accessories, 850-914-0265.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida gets results. Here's Brandon Strickland from Recommended Collision Center, Jinx Avenue in Panama City.
At Recommended Collision Center, we're all about taking care of our community, and advertising on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has helped us do just that. Social media ads were getting stale, but the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson gave us a fresh way to reach local customers. We've seen more vehicles coming in for estimates, more phone calls, and more people recognizing our name. It's been a great partnership for our business, pairing up with 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
To see how 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida can help grow your business, go to ESPNPC.com and click the contact button. Get your message heard and cut through the clutter. Go to ESPNPC.com and click the contact button.
The sports world is a battlefield of opinions. And every day, Paul Wilson brings the heat, the fire, and the definitive take. Don't just follow the headlines. Be a part of the story on the Sports Blitz. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for Orlando Magic basketball tonight. Following the show at 6 p.m., tip-off right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You can call in or text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We would love to hear your thoughts, especially you Gator fans, because there has been a lot of people talking a lot of noise about Todd Golden. And, one of the things that even Jeffrey brought up earlier was the fact that I was on the Todd Golden train, and I still am. I still think he's one of the best college basketball coaches in the country. And even though you know how it is, it's always this way every year. Whenever something bad happens, there's always the boo birds, and there's always going to be problems. But I will say this. To get rid of Todd Golden would be the demise of Florida, because I'm not so sure where or what or who you would call in to come play the coaching position, because the coaching position, as we've seen in these games so far, has meant a lot. Todd Golden's buyout is $16 million, just so you know, but I do not see that being an issue. Florida would be absolutely crazy. That would be the most craziest thing that would ever happen. It would supersede Lane Kiffin, the whole debacle there. But you know what? It is college sports, and we could possibly see it because 25. If it was 2025, I would say, you know what? There's a chance. 2026 seems like it's a little bit more calm and not as bad as it was in college football. So I'm excited about that.
Not even Skip Bayless could talk about them buying out Todd Golden.
No way.
Are you kidding me?
No possible way. Yeah. If
you can be mad at him, but
no,
there's no chance they're buying him out.
No, I mean, he has been, fantastic. I mean, I don't even know his win-loss record, but I will say this. He's been in the conversation this whole time. And the only reason why I would even mention it is because I have seen some of the banter online, but also understanding that there's a possibility. It hasn't been said yet, but there's a certain college in North Carolina that's possibly going to be coachless here in the next couple of weeks, if not couple of days. I'm just saying, Hubert Davis, North Carolina, he's probably going to find another replacement for him.
I agree with that, and I'll tell you the thing that's interesting about that. I wouldn't worry so much about Golden there or anything like that. The fact that Bill Self hasn't talked about next year at Kansas is interesting to me.
Good old Roy Williams.
When it comes to North Carolina, because that's exactly the kind of coach they think they need.
Mm-hmm.
They need that experienced, calmer. Well, Roy had a background with North Carolina for a very long time before that. So, yeah, he did a lot of years at Kansas, but that was kind of seen. I can see it with Self. I mean, I know he's been there a long time. He was at Illinois a long time before that. But just the fact that he hasn't talked about his future at Kansas and he's been asked about it, and he's been a little ruffled at a few things over the last couple of years, some with the NCAA.
Right.
I would not shock me at all if North Carolina makes a huge push, because that, to me, is the kind of guy they want.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to be – they're going to have to go after a big-time name, or do you think they're going to go after one of these younger guys that have made big runs, like your Todd Goldens? I mean, obviously, some of these guys have already taken jobs. We'll talk about that at the top of the hour or beyond. But, I mean, who – besides Bill Self, who realistically is available? Is Billy Donovan – is his NBA time up? And could he be – pulled back in and asked to come and be the head basketball coach at the Carolina Tar Heels?
It's like inviting Spurrier back or Urban Meyer. They want that old glory. That's what they want.
But they got to get somebody. I agree with what Brian said. They got to find somebody big.
Well,
they're not
here's
going to go
another
small.
name that actually I've heard out there, and he's had so many chances to move, so I don't think it would happen. But again, he'd be the kind of mindset guy that you want, and that's Mark Few out at Gonzaga.
Yeah, they have mentioned him too.
I could see that kind of. I don't see Billy wanting to get back into the collegiate game. He's had opportunities. He's got his name on the court at Florida, by the way. I don't think he's going to do that. But no, I think they want. When North Carolina has done well, they've gone with an older, experienced, calming kind of presence. They obviously had that in Dean Smith all along, but Guthridge followed Dean. He was on the staff. They knew he wasn't going to be there long. Then they try the Matt Doherty angle. Not going to work. So what do? They go get the experienced guy in Roy Williams. That lasted forever. Now they try the Hubert Davis, former player, younger coach. Hasn't really worked. He got him to the title game that 1 year from an 8 seed. That was great. I don't think they wanted him then.
No.
He just had a great run because they barely made the tournament that year. So I think their mindset in general is to go for established, calming, experienced presence. And look, Pitino and Calipari are very experienced coaches. I don't think they fit with North Carolina.
No, I don't think so
That's
either.
why I think Few, Self, those are more the kind of mindset I think they want to bring in.
Would it shock you that Nate Oates would be mentioned in the conversation? He's had a great success at Alabama. I think his win last Sunday was his I think he now is the all-time winningest coach in Alabama history of the tournament.
I was going to say, he's already passed Wimp.
Yeah, really.
Winning tournament games. So realistically, would it surprise you? Okay, so if you had opportunity, would you go Few, Bill Self, or would you go a Nate Oates? I mean, because he's had some of this trouble. There's been some backlog. Obviously, Alabama is a basketball school as well as a football school. They're in it every year. He's put good teams out there, and if they were to upset Michigan, that would be a huge deal.
Alabama's the football school.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm sorry. How many titles does Bama have in basketball?
None.
Okay. There we go.
Alabama.
That conversation's over with. And
Paul,
North Carolina.
Good try, Paul.
Yeah, nice try,
Alabama's
Paul.
a football
Slip
school
that in
that's
there.
had some
I'm not even sure if y'all have a
basketball
baseball title. I'm not even sure about that. I have to look that one up too.
We
But
do
anyway, get out of reality. Because I was trying to think, well, who is North Carolina in college football? Is it Bama? Are they the school? Is it Kentucky? Who's the basketball school that's the thing of all time? Because UCLA hadn't won since, 97 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
95?
95 would be
95,
correct,
yeah. So it's been a long time for UCLA. UCLA is not the Alabama of basketball. So it makes me wonder, is North Carolina the Alabama of basketball?
You could argue it's Duke now.
It's Duke. It has to be.
You can
Yeah, it has to
actually
be.
argue Kansas. Kansas and North Carolina have been good for a longer period of time sporadically. Duke, for the last 35, 40 years, has been undoubtedly the team.
Yeah.
I think they made their first Final Four in like 86.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they won it for the first time in
91.
91 when they took out UNLV.
Yeah.
But and then that won the championship game. I think they beat Kansas actually to win the championship that year. But I think Duke is the face of college basketball over the last 35, 40 years.
Yeah, they're Alabama.
But long-term blue blood, it's got to be North Carolina or Kansas.
And I know that the recency bias is what we're basing it off of. The last 30
Well,
years, that's going to be it.
Before I get killed, you can throw Kentucky in there as well. They've been there long-term as well. They just haven't been as good over the last decade, maybe. But
And when you look at how good Duke has been and the number one draft picks that have come out of Duke going into the draft, that's another thing that looks like Alabama, from Zion Williamson to Cooper Flagg last year. So that's really where you're looking at it.
So if Nate Oates beats Michigan in the next round, it's going to be a hot item. Alabama better get him on an extension because he is going to.
Nate Oates is at the top of their list if they don't get that type of guy we were talking about earlier. Let me throw a big monkey wrench into this that I don't think would happen, but you want to talk about a guy who would do a bang-up job for 5 or 6 years there? Bruce Pearl's available.
Oh, God.
Would he fit the mold of what they look for?
I think they would love him at North Carolina. I really do. I think they would absolutely love him at North Carolina.
That's not a calm.
Why do you
I
say no?
agree. He's not.
Oh,
he's different than he was 10 years ago.
Can't stop talking.
But I don't think he's interested in coming back. I think Bruce Pearl would actually do a very good job.
Do you think he would do a good job there, or do you think it would clash with the way that they are?
Yeah,
the southern gentleman style of basketball, or Bruce Pearl screaming, which Nate Oates is a screamer too, but Bruce Pearl is a more of a hated person.
They're a sweater vest polished university.
Well,
I don't think people understand that.
They've called it
I'm
the
not
wine
saying
and
that-
cheese audience. Yeah.
I'm a normal person, okay? I'm going to the Triangle. I'm going to NC State because that's where my people are. UNC, I don't think you understand what type of education and the money that is at that school. It's really unreal.
It's about 10 years ago, there were some things out of there coming out of the Duke fan that they called it kind of the wine and cheese crowd. Boy, they hated that. And
Yeah,
it
they
got
did.
a little raucous after that, and Roy played into it a little bit. Roy could get fiery when he needed to. I think Bruce Pearl, the only reason I say he'd be good at, I think he's so good at adapting to the environment and building the excitement around the event. He would be great at a team that feels like they've kind of lost their way.
Yeah.
And he would be good at kind of rebuilding their belief in the program. I really think so.
Well,
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nate Oates is not going to beat Michigan, and I'll call it right now. And there's, 3 1 seeds left. And we got Duke against St. John's.
Yeah.
There's a possibility of St. John's. Arkansas won the SEC championship. They're playing Arizona. There's a possibility there. But Alabama has the least amount of odds to knock off the number one.
But we're talking about the coach. If he gives this game a go, if he upsets them, takes them to overtime, maybe misses a shot to lose it, is North Carolina knocking on the door? That's the question.
Yes.
In Nate Oates, he will definitely.
Nate Oates over Bruce Pearl any day.
And Nate Oates, if he has the opportunity, yes or no, he going?
It's tough.
I mean, you don't know.
You got to think too. You don't turn down an opportunity like North Carolina. And Nate Oates, as good as he's been at Alabama, it has been a rocky couple of years for a lot of things that weren't his fault.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the G League guy, and then now the guy who got the marijuana.
I mean, how about the Darius Miles murder?
Yeah, all that stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there that he may just kind of want to refresh.
Maybe that's why I think so.
I don't know.
Sounds like he fits in at LSU.
Oh
no,
yeah, he does.
A lot of drama.
Is Nate Oates, if he gets the opportunity to go to North Carolina, does he take it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And because of all of the stuff that's going on, and especially here lately, I think he jumps ship. I think he goes. I think he takes it because, I mean, he's just a guy that wants to win basketball games.
Well, the recruiting level, UNC is going to give a lot of support for basketball.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Well, we've made it to the top of the hour. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit more in depth about the NCAA tournament. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone Service.
The Red 70s studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your exclusive home for March Madness.
And it goes for the win!
We'll bring you every game live.
Hits the three to tie it!
It's the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament, college basketball's premier event, and it's all right here.
And the dream is alive!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The dream, yes!
Good evening, this is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy tonight with a wind at 7 miles per hour coming out of the north-northwest and a low of 65. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze and some sun with a temperature near 70. The afternoon and evening, a high around 72 and some sun. Wednesday, hot with a high of 72 and some sun. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hi, friends. My name's Amy McGowan, and I'm a local residential realtor in Bay County with LPT Realty. I would love to help you buy, sell, or find your next investment property in Panama City Beach or the surrounding areas. Please call me today at 850-775-7885 or find me on my website at amyinpcbsellsre.com.
No one wants to deal with a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC emergency. It's even worse when you're not sure what it'll cost, when it'll get fixed, or if someone's just selling you something. When you call Hiller, you can trust our experts to actually solve your home's problems quickly. And with true transparency pricing, you know the price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. Book online now at happyhiller.com. Happy you'll be, or the service is free.
I'm a happy face truck today.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The locals love it.
Lanier in transition, hits the three, and a sign of life from Knoxville. Playing, driving right. Lob from Brazil and a two-hand slam.
6 on the clock. Now with 5. He drives on Maddox. Right elbow with Ray. Spins to the foul line. Jumper up and it rattles in at the buzzer.
Don't miss any of this year's action on the road to the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments.
Listen live exclusively on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida and the ESPN Northwest Florida app.
This is the Sports Blitz. We don't just talk sports. We start fires. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
What it do, people? It's the homie Lil Cash. Right now you tuned in with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. The hottest sports show in the South. Let's go. It's Lil Cash with another hit with Paul Wilson on the Sports Blitz. Where they talk trash and they talk ish. When it comes to sports, man, they too legit. It's 104.3 ESPN. If you love sports, better chime in. NFL, college, local sports, they got it. NBA, they got it. Sports Blitz, the topic. The show hottest wasabi. Better tune in and go watch it. Hey, Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. If you even tried, you can't stop it. Bone Crusher gon' pop it. No Jeff gon' pop it. Go like, comment, subscribe, and share. Right now.
We are live and local right here at 5 o'clock on this beautiful Monday in Panama City Beach, Florida. We're so glad to have you joined in. Don't forget tonight, right after the show, the Orlando Magic took off at 6 o'clock. And then don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, maybe you got some ideas about what we've been talking about. You can call in or text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Got Brian here in the building. Jeffrey's here. Bone Crusher's here. You know, when you think about how this Sweet 16 has been put together and you look at the teams that are there, we can't not but look at, because we all know that this is what we do as not only sports media, but we're also fans. The SEC bringing in 11, but now only
10,
got
10.
4. Well,
10.
Texas, right, was 11.
No, it was
Texas
10.
brought
Texas
in.
made 10.
Okay,
Texas made
so 10, and now we're down to 4.
Yeah.
And
you know, I said this last week. I said, if you get 5, that's incredible.
Right.
If you get in 4, you should be really, really happy. But
would you think that the 4 teams that are here, though, would have been the ones?
God,
no. I wouldn't have.
No. Obviously, everybody would have had Florida for sure.
Florida, Alabama,
possibly
Vandy, and Arkansas.
Yeah, I think so.
And definitely not the surprise of Tennessee, which they're more of a surprise than Texas.
You have 25% of the Sweet 16. That's not bad.
But Texas... What
I'll
has Sean Miller done?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think they should have made the tournament. I'm glad they did because they've played well.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have made the tournament at the time.
There's a restaurant owner that is going to really not like to hear what you're saying right now.
Look, I don't hate Texas. The way that they crashed down the end of the season, their body work, losing 3 straight to go out. The last 2 regular season games, and then to Ole Miss in the tournament. I know the thing that probably helped them is that Ole Miss continued on a run.
That they looked so
in the
good,
SEC tournament. That loss didn't look as bad as it was. And I know they were right in that mix, and they ended up being in one of the play-ins, right? I guess they played, NC State. Right.
By 2.
So they barely made it in. I did not think they were going to make it if they lost first round of the SEC tournament. Glad they got in because they've obviously turned it on, and now they're in the Sweet 16. Good for them.
Let's give the cred to Texas. NC State, BYU, who you were high on, and Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Alabama played Hofstra, and Texas Tech beat up Texas Tech team.
Right. Difference, a big difference.
Huge.
Hey, why are you hating on Hofstra?
He that's just his nature. So North Carolina State.
I don't even know where Hofstra is.
It's in Long Island.
North Carolina State, winning by a last-second shot, beating BYU that inevitably, possibly, could have the best one-on-one basketball player in college basketball, then going and beating a team, Gonzaga, at 3. Sean Miller has now put himself into, expectation town now. He's a good coach. He's the one. And so with that being said, I know we talked about it at length for the last segment. Is there a possibility that North Carolina would try to come in and steal Sean Miller from Texas?
This is going to sound weird because I know some people are going to say Bruce Miller had some issues with the NCAA before. Bruce Pearl had some issues with the NCAA before and all. A cookout's a little bit different. Sean Miller, look, I understand most basketball coaches this day and age are not angels. Morally dubious would be the way I would describe Sean Miller. Great coach. I don't think he is something North Carolina wants to take a chance on.
And see,
I don't.
That's where I would wonder, because with him, if they were to somehow, some way, get to the next round and make the Elite Eight, I mean, I don't. But see, that's the difference, though. So let me ask y'all this real quick, and this is not on the schedule, but even though Texas is not a blue blood in basketball, is Texas a blue blood in general in college? Because they've got the money.
In college athletics, certainly.
They've got the deep pockets. So realistically, when you look at Texas,
they're a top five.
They'll pay him.
They are a top 5 overall athletic department in not only college sports now, but in history.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They're a top 5.
So even though they're not considered a blue blood, having the Texas job is still a big deal. I mean, even with Rick Barnes being there, he was a good coach.
He did a good job there.
So people are arguing online, can they be a Cinderella because they're 11 seed?
Yeah.
And people were saying, oh, no, they have too much money. You can't be Cinderella if you have too much money.
And that's the thing. That's kind of where I'm going, because of Texas is such a big conglomerate of money and all of that. People aren't really, are they Cinderella? But they are.
The thing is,
Cinderella's the wrong term.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're 11.
They would be a shocking participant in a Final Four.
You wouldn't call them Cinderella?
I don't think I would. I think Cinderella is reserved for a smaller school with very
little
tight
resources.
Budget. Yeah, very, very small
But
resources.
let's talk about
to me is a Cinderella.
Let's talk about. I saw High Point coming. I saw VCU coming. I saw what they did towards the end of the year.
Hold on a minute. You done said this 3 times.
But wait, time out. Nobody. I'll tell you, no way I could look up and down this thing, write out 10 different brackets. There was no way I was going to have Texas getting past the first round after they got that qualifier win.
I agree.
Or not. It doesn't matter. This is a team that lost to Ole Miss, didn't win a single SEC tournament game. They were totally mediocre. I thought Texas A&M was a better team than them. They took a whole week off after that loss to Ole Miss. And then they won 3 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
That's insane how you take a whole week off and then win 3 and 5.
They would be,
if you would have told me that this would happen, I would have said you're out of your cotton picking mind.
They would be shocking to make it that far, because based on what we saw of this team, nobody would have thought they would have gone that far. But to me, Cinderella is VCU, is Wichita State, is Florida Gulf Coast University. That's the Cinderella. It's the team that traditionally has no resources, has no history, has no top-level athlete. You know, they just find lightning in a bottle, and they just go on this run. Loyola Chicago, greatest Cinderella. I mean, those are the kind of Cinderellas for me.
So Nebraska was a 4 seed and never won a tournament game, and now they won back-to-back, taking out a team, Vanderbilt, that we thought maybe might give Florida some problems.
Yeah, but when you going back to your point, though, that Texas dynamic of money, now that we're in this NIL deal, now these teams that are we going to see teams that are underperforming during the year but finally put it together, that make the money, that are paying people, that are getting more people here? And are we going to start seeing the tournament where it used to be only Elite 8s are going to be the ones that are the 6 to 5 is about as far as you can get to getting into the championship?
Well, I still think,
or are we going to see an 11?
I still think statistically that's where it goes. There have been a very few past an 8, really past a 6.
Yeah.
But there have been very, very few. You've had the, what 2 11s have made the Final Four. I think that's the lowest it's gone.
Yes.
Was FGCU, I think, was an 11, and maybe VC.
LSU was
LSU was well, that was what, 86, I think it was.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know that that's any different in the NIL era. Like you said, a team that's struggled down the stretch and then catches fire in the tournament. We've seen that.
Yeah.
A team that looks unbeatable and lays an egg in the tournament. We've seen. I think that's more basketball. I don't know that that's going to change so much in the NIL era. The thing that I thought was the most interesting, and I think we're out of it now, coming out of COVID, the schools that were doing really well were the schools that had 5-year players.
Right.
Like the Creightons and the Xaviers, and you had a lot of that. I think we're past that now. So I think we're back into the teams that can go buy the good 1-year talents and be able to assemble a team very well when you know your entire roster is going to turn over. I don't know if that plays toward the tournament. I don't know if it brings any more low seeds in. I just think that's the nature of this tournament. It seems like every year you have one.
Does that make the Texas? Does that make Texas a hated team because they've got so much money? Because really, you both just said they're not a Cinderella. You said, yeah, they're Texas. They're Texas. They're Texas. Does that make is Texas one of the? We don't really mention it. Is that one of the hatest programs in the country?
We're wasting an 11 seed on a top 5 athletic program. I mean, it's kind of the point.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the one thing I would say to your comment about the NIL is I think it's so difficult to get a brand new roster every year playing on the same page. What you might see are more teams that struggle early that get it together late. They may come into the tournament as a 6, 7, 8 seed, but they're playing as good as anybody in the country at the end of the year. Maybe you'll see more of that.
Yeah.
Because there's less carryover from one year to the other the way there used to be. I don't know.
Is that the side of the bracket that's a little bit easier? Is it Purdue and Arizona easier to get through than Michigan and Iowa State or Houston? Or is that Houston side the easiest side to get out? Because you got Michigan State, you got a possibility of Duke or St. John, and then you got to look at whether or not, they can get out of Purdue. Purdue, to me, they're the one that it's like you don't know what you're going to get with Purdue.
I think the sides are actually pretty balanced, but when you want to talk about a region, because Florida's gone, it's Houston. They're gonna I don't want to say here's your ticket to the Final Four, but I mean Nebraska, Iowa, and who do they have to play before that?
Illinois.
See, I like
I'm
Illinois
sorry,
better
you like
than you
Illinois.
do.
Yeah,
That's
I don't.
Fine. That's fine.
You're talking about 3 just middle of the country teams that are not. They don't have the track record.
Yeah.
Illinois,
so, am I
to an
disrespecting
extent,
them?
but certainly better than the others. Look, there's no doubt the East on paper looks the best of what's left. I mean, that's the closest to chalk you have.
Well,
1, 2, 3, 5.
UConn,
and those are big programs.
Yeah.
UConn,
Dude,
Michigan State, St. John's, and
St.
Duke.
John's has been to the Final Four, although it's been a while, but they've got Pitino. Michigan State, multiple national championships. UConn, multiple national championships. These are pedigree teams.
So
that's the best thing.
Here's the crazy part. St. John's is a 5 seed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know who won the Big East regular season? It wasn't UConn. It was actually St. John's.
Right? Yeah.
Not just the tournament, but the regular season.
Yeah. And they're still the lower.
And they're still the 5.
Yeah.
The only 5 left.
Right. And that's why I'm wondering which side. And I guess I agree with you, but it is the hotness. It is to see, because you know as well as I do, if Boozer gets in foul trouble like Florida's big men got in foul trouble early on, they're going to be a different ball club. They are. And I just wonder, are we in the situation where a one-person style of team like Duke is, we're just waiting. We're waiting, and I'm watching, and I'm like, okay, he's taking over, but when is he going to get in foul trouble? When are they going to allow him to get in foul trouble? When he gets in foul trouble and he has to go sit, that team is not equipped to play without him for long periods of time.
Yes and no. I would say this about Duke. I think I don't like them getting through based on what they have to go through and the injuries they have. That being said, the best thing in the world that could have happened to Duke happened in the first round.
Yeah.
They had to wake up early.
Oh, yeah.
And they had to have other people step up early. If the first time they faced that was against a team like St. John's beat them by 15 because they wouldn't be ready for it. I think the fact that they had to do that early has helped them. Now, I still think somebody, whether it's St. John's or the winner of Michigan State, UConn, is just going to take them out because they're missing too much and their competition is strong enough. But that being said, I think Duke having that challenge in the first round put them in the best possible position to avoid that because other guys have had to step forward. So, yes, Boozer getting into trouble would be bad, but I don't think it'll be as much of a shock for someone having to step up because they've had to do it already.
Yeah.
I think Duke has to deal with a 2 seed that's the weakest that's left.
UConn's certainly the most inconsistent. Of them left. I don't disagree with that.
I mean,
they're still good, though.
Iowa State and Houston, and then the third one is Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue. I'm not
UConn's the weakling of the 2s.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I still agree that you've got Pitino over there, you've got Izzo over there, and you've got Hurley over there. Mm-hmm. And those are the 3 coaches that you're going to have to go through. You're going to have to go through 2 of those. Yeah. 2 out of the 3 you got to face. And the thing is that Shire's done a great job, but he's no Coach K. I can just tell you that. And so with that being said, these guys know how to win tournament games because they've won tournament games.
And that's the reload university. They just reload.
Yeah.
You lose Cooper Flagg, guess what? You're right back in it.
I'll be honest with you, though. If I'm St. John's coming off of that emotional high coming out of Kansas, I hate that I got to wait 4 or 5 days. I would have rather played them 2 days later.
Yeah,
I do. I think momentum, absolutely.
Momentum.
I would have absolutely loved to have played Duke right after that.
I definitely believe that the excitement of this game coming up, though, to me is probably the game. The Duke, the St. John game is what everybody is mainly focusing on because it's such a storied program against a storied program with a storied coach. And is it time for Shire to actually take the next step? Obviously, he's made it further, but I'm saying, is it time for him to get to the place to where the new coach is not just Todd Golden, but it's going to be Shire as well?
I think rightly or wrongly, there's more focus on Shire for this would be a true coaching job.
Right.
Because of what's happened to them with injuries and this and the other. If he can get this team through.
Yeah, it'll be all him.
This would be on him.
Yeah.
It's probably unfair to say with the players because they still have to go do it, but I think there would be more of a focus on what a coaching job this was versus, I had Cooper Flagg or, whatever. So.
But outside the Boozer brothers, unless you are a diehard Duke fan and you just dive into college basketball, you don't know anybody else on that team.
No.
They've got talent. Don't get me wrong. There's talented guys. There's five-star guys, but there's not a lot of people.
We were talking
about
this in the break. So obviously Duke St. John's has the opportunity to it very well could be the best game. Michigan State, UConn's interesting. They're both good. I don't know if it's going to be a great game of basketball, but I had said I think Houston and Illinois could be just the breakout game of the tournament. Jeff turned his nose up at me, which is fine. It may be. It may be a stinker. But so what would y'all's be? Let's say outside of Duke St. John's, which we all agree is very good. What would be the game we're very much looking forward to?
This is where I want to complain. Because on Thursday, we got Texas and Purdue playing an early game, and then Iowa, Nebraska. You know what happens next? It's my bedtime, and we got a tip-off.
They don't care about you.
The two biggest games on Thursday are the late games. 8:45 Central Time is Arkansas and Arizona. I want to see that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then at 9:05 is your Illinois and Houston.
Yep.
So what is your game before we go to the break that you want to see?
Arkansas, Arizona. And, of course, the Duke St. John's.
Yeah,
so those are the two highly rated
with
games.
Arkansas and Arizona, you're wanting to see whether or not the athletes are going to be able to impose their will on the other athletes. Are they going to dominate the way that they've dominated throughout the tournament? Because both of these teams have done that going into the tournament, and definitely their last two opponents.
And Arizona's got a solid opponent that I need them to win it because – that's who I got winning it all, So it's a must for me. And Arkansas won the SEC tournament. You talk about recency bias, this is it.
Is there a place where we're going to see two teams from the same conference play in the championship? Yes. There's a big that would be crazy. But either way, we're going to go ahead and take our next break. When we come back, we got Todd coming on.
Do we?
We're excited. I think so.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
We'll find out.
You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Red 7T studio line is now open.
I think this entire audience is on medication.
850-215-6290. The chaos lives here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida presents March Madness.
Living up to its name, the Madness. 3, top of the key, got it.
Catch every upset, every buzzer beater, and every heart-stopping moment of the NCAA tournament.
Whitewater, he's going to take the 3, and he hit again!
Your home for the Big Dance is right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
That right there is the explanation point.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Monday. Partly cloudy tonight with a wind at 7 miles per hour coming out of the north-northwest and a low of 65. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze and some sun with a temperature near 70. The afternoon and evening, a high around 72 and some sun. Wednesday, hot with a high of 72 and some sun. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ready to dance? Right now on Hard Rock Bet, new customers get paid double winnings on your first 10 bets. And we'll keep you dancing all tourney with 2 profit boosts for every day of hoops. That's right. All customers can get a parlay profit boost and a live bet profit boost from now till they cut down the nets. Double winnings, daily dancing boosts, only on Hard Rock Bet.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Are you living with chronic pain, anxiety, or sleepless nights? You don't have to just get by. You deserve to thrive. At Thrive Alternative Medicine on Panama City Beach Parkway, Dr. Laughlin and counselor Suzanne Clark provide a compassionate path to relief. From medical marijuana card certifications to professional mental health counseling, managing conditions like PTSD, chronic pain, and the complexities of cancer. Book online at thrivealternativemedicine.com. thrivealternativemedicine.com. Find the relief you deserve.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament plays here.
Off target, right hand follow. Cowbell, perfectly timed right block.
Listen to the madness.
And the Tide are up 17.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. Real talk for the real sports fan. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, Orlando Magic tips off at 6 o'clock right after the show. You want to be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290, the Red 7T's phone line. Red 7T's, your spot for all things custom apparel right here in the Panhandle. Got Brian here, Jeffrey's here, Bone Crusher's here. But the captain is not here. He is in Orlando.
Maybe.
He's probably.
I can't keep up. We got to put a bell on him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we have to do.
But then, who knows? I don't know.
Well, I know they had the big Comic-Con down there because the whole comic team was down there. The shop was rocking down in Orlando. Comic-Con was big. I know that. I don't know if he is coming back. It's hard to keep
up.
He
may not ever come back.
I've talked to him a few times on the phone because
we're
looking at some collections and things like that. But I just don't know. I just know we've all been really busy. I mean, the whole point of me having the travel issues, I was coming back from the Dallas Card Show.
Yeah.
We had 4 guys at there, 4 people. Mm-hmm. I always get in trouble for saying guys.
It's fun.
4 people were at the Houston Collecticon, same weekend of that, and then this entire basically week was the Comic-Con down there in Orlando. So a lot been going on within the hobby space. Of course, it's been spring break here.
Yes.
So we've had a lot of people in, a lot of people bringing collections in, a lot of people buying things. Mm-hmm. So it's been a lot of fun with that, and it's just been busy all around PCB hobby. Even when we can't get back, we find a way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. When we look at what happened last week with the World Baseball Classic and just how it all happened, did you see any of the cards kind of, move a little bit more? Tell us about that a little
Roman
bit
Anthony.
Because, I was going to say.
Almost with every hit.
Yeah.
That's
here's
crazy.
The thing.
The World Baseball Classic, God, I hope they don't mess this up because it has become such a perfect thing.
Yeah.
It gets you excited. Like, it happens when you're the most excited about baseball. You're coming into the season. The players are crazy into it. It hypes up the way that the Olympics does because it's country versus country. And because there are so many good players in Japan, in the Dominican Republic, a lot of the Italian guys grew up in the States, but they played really well. They got kind of on a tear. Venezuela was extremely good, obviously.
Yeah.
See, it's very competitive. The guys are into it. It's when they're the most excited about baseball. We're the most excited about baseball. Somehow Rob Manfred will screw this up.
I hope not.
I'm sure he will. But it was so good just to watch. It was the one good thing about being stuck in the airport, and I got to see most of the USA-DR game.
Yeah.
That was fun. But, card prices always move based on that. And, You know, you saw with Roman Anthony when he hit the home run to put us up 2-1 against the Dominican. His stuff was already good. It went on a further tear, and as guys played well in that, their card prices moved along with it because so many people were watching it.
Yeah. So do you, like a person like Paul Skeens that's really started to go into this worldwide style. I mean, he's totally stepped into another realm, right? And so he's in there with Judge and he's in there with Ohtani. Not as high as those guys yet, but he's in that realm. Do you see a card like for him that he would ever fall off as his career wanes, or do you think his stuff can go? Because when you talk about Ohtani, you talk about Judge, you talk about these guys, when they start on the back end of their careers, like maybe like a Mike Trout, you know, he was the hottest thing going for so long. Now he's possibly on the back end of his. What happens to those cards?
We have a phrase in the hobby, if you will, and it's called he's built in. Shohei Ohtani's built in.
Yeah.
He's won 3 MVPs out of the last 4. He's won 2 World Championships now. He's built in.
Yeah.
He is a unique player. He's got the Asian market, which matters in collectibles. Like it doesn't matter. Ohtani could pull an OJ, his stuff would still sell.
Yeah.
I mean, it just would. Judge is pretty built in. The thing with Judge is he doesn't have the championships yet. He's got 3 MVPs, basically. Or no, Ohtani has 3 in a row. Judge, or I can't remember how. Yes, Ohtani has 3 in a row. Judge has 3 out of 4.
3 out of, yeah.
That's right.
Say, yeah.
But so Judge is pretty built in, but he doesn't have that next level it factor that Ohtani has. So he's really not going to drop off hard either. Skeens is a little bit different animal for a couple of reasons. Number one, he hasn't really won anything yet. And number 2, he's a pitcher. People are always more wary of pitchers. Now, if Paul Skeens wins 2 or 3 Cy Youngs, makes the all-anticipated and in my household prayed-for move to the Yankees, which I'm convinced will happen.
Yeah.
That's my big prediction of the year. By the end of this year, Paul Skeens will be on the Yankees roster. I believe that. So that would take him to a case where maybe he wouldn't fall. But pitchers in general, they tend to, number one, they tend to fall off quicker than hitters do. And number 2, there's a lot more reticence to go deep into investing in pitchers because they're just more susceptible to injury in statistical reality. So Skeens could, I don't know that Judge is really going to fall off, and Ohtani will not.
Yeah, Ohtani is not.
Now, Ohtani will, he is in a stratosphere all by himself. The money that was being spent on Ohtani in Dallas, I think the technical term is stupid money.
Yeah.
It's insane. So he could pull back slightly from what I think is overinflated, but as far as long-term investment, he's Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's what I think too, yeah.
He's built in.
So like with a player like Skeens, it's going to matter if he wins a Cy Young, if he goes to a big market, wins a title, wins some playoff games, still becomes dominant, stays dominant for this period of time, then he gets into the realm of Maddox and Clemens and Glavine and those kind of Nolan Ryan, maybe if he can get up to that point.
Take the steroid conversation out of Clemens. It would be unbelievable what his stuff goes for. It already goes for a lot considering he was in what was called the junk wax era,
right?
Where they made so many cards of all of these things. Clemens, I mean, if Skeens has that kind of thing, his stuff is going to be up there as big as any pitcher in history, maybe save Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan was just such an icon.
Yeah.
I don't think
he stayed for
I'll
so
be honest
long,
with you,
too.
I think he's overrated as a pitcher. I really do. I think he was good. He's Hall of Fame worthy. I don't think he's nearly as good as a lot of people make him out to be. But when he was on, he might have been better than anybody.
Right.
He just wasn't on as much as everybody likes to remember.
People love him, though.
But he's an icon.
Yeah, people love him.
They love Nolan Ryan. As more people could tell you Nolan Ryan beat up Robin Ventura than how many no-hitters he threw.
Right.
They could. Because he was such an icon. He was that crazy redneck uncle that everybody had that you were a little scared of, you know. So Nolan Ryan is probably the top pitcher in terms of card values that's out there. I think Skeens could get there, but he's got to win a lot of things.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. So I wondered about that. Let's change it a little bit. Let's go into the basketball market. Are there already cards out of these kids that are playing in the NCAA March Madness right now? Is there cards for Boozer? Is there cards for Peterson? Is there cards for Acuff? Are those guys that are going to be first-round draft picks, have they put out those yet?
So I'm gonna go on and pre-couch this with I'm not 100% exactly on each player.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a couple of things where they could be in it. They've done a set called Bowman Chrome University up to this point. Now, because basketball is freshman-driven, it's unlikely they've ever been in that if they're freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
They just released a set called, I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago, called McDonald's Chrome All-American.
Yes.
That's the guys who played the All-American game last year who are freshmen this year. If it catches those guys, some of them didn't play in that game who are really good now. So if it catches them, men and women, that's big. But Bowman, and this just released very recently, what they're doing for basketball, because now Topps has the basketball license, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing for Bowman is going to be absolutely genius, and it's going to be really cool. See, they have the college licenses too. Bowman basketball, starting this year, will be kind of like what Bowman baseball is, where it's a lot of vets, a lot of rookie, but also the prospects. So what Bowman basketball is going to be, it's going to be LeBron James is going to have cards, Steph Curry's going to have cards, Cooper Flagg's going to have cards, Con Canuple's going to have cards. But within that same set, they're going to have first Bowmans in their college uniform of the college stars.
Mm.
So as long as they don't have a specific one-off deal with Panini, Boozer could be in there. All these guys. And so it's going to be within the same set. So you're not having to go get a different set that's just the college guys, and you're like, I don't know if I want to pay for just the college guys. This will be wrapped together.
Okay.
So in the same pack, you could pull a Cooper Flag rookie, you could pull a Boozer first Bowman, and you could pull a LeBron James. That's really cool.
That is
love
really
that
good.
they've done it that way. It also tells me they're probably going to do the same thing for football.
Yeah,
That's
right.
going to be neat.
So what is coming out? Do you have anything that's getting ready to hit?
So in a weird way, we're kind of in a lull week. Topps has put out something I think is the best thing that they've done in years. They put out a thing called basically a collector's box. It is perfect for someone who is just getting into it or is just getting back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're able to put them out Wednesday. It's basically a couple of baseball packs, some high-end, like they have some chrome in there, a couple of basketball packs. Then they also put in like a little mini binder where you can put up to 80 cards. They have some top loaders. They have some penny sleeves. So it's a great introduction to, I've heard about this card thing. I'd love to get so in the same box, you get a couple of packs, one that's unique to this box. So you got a chance at hitting some cool cards. You have the supplies to protect them, and you're off and running in the hobby. I think that's neat. So that comes out on Wednesday.
Is there any autographs in that one?
There could be.
Okay.
I don't know that. I don't know how strong the likelihood is, but there could be. But like I said, it's more of an entry level, get you into what this is. As far as there's not really a whole lot of drops the rest of the week, but the next 2 weeks, surprisingly enough, we're on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's going to be all about WWE products, really. They have a high-end product called Exalted that drops next week that we've been waiting for patiently. And the big release, WWE Chrome, comes out on April the 10th. WrestleMania is like the 19th and 20th. The timing is perfect. They're going to do buybacks the way that they do the MVP buybacks in baseball and basketball as it relates to championship matches. There's a lot going on with that. You do have a few other drops. Prism WNBA drops on the 1st. But as far as this week, it's kind of the calm before the storm, if you will, and then it really heats up in April.
That's funny.
And don't forget, Topps takes over the football license in April.
I was going to say it's getting ready to be cool. Let's read this story. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but a guy and his girlfriend pulled a rip card in 2019. I did this just for you.
Okay.
Ichiro on the front, Matsui on the back.
Okay.
They held it for 6 years. It's an Allen Ginter card.
Mm-hmm.
They held it for 6 years without ripping it.
Yep.
So the deal is that this Allen Ginter card is a card, and you can rip it
That's
open,
correct.
and there's a smaller card inside of it. Now, it could be a bust, or it could be a really good card.
Jeff, we're old enough. You remember the show Let's Make a Deal?
Oh, yeah.
It's that.
Okay.
You have this refrigerator, but you could go behind curtain number 2, and it could be a car, or it could be a
$10,000
bag of peanuts.
Or or
You
it
know.
could just be nothing.
So that's what this rip card is. Exactly.
So last week, she finally said, let's rip the card open. Let's do it. So 6 years they held on to this.
And they didn't know what was inside?
No, you don't know what's inside.
You know there's a mini card inside it, but you don't know what it is. It could be a base level, nothing against JT Real Muto, but it could be a base level JT Real Muto, or it could be a...
They opened the pack. It was a Shohei Ohtani autographed card, 10 of 10, inside it. So they held on to it for 6
I hadn't heard the story.
years.
Are they married yet? Because it might be a
That's
divorce.
going in the prenup.
So yeah, that's a crazy.
You're talking a 5-figure card. Then.
Yeah. So they were holding on to that. They had that the whole time for 6 years.
And never knew it.
And never knew it since 2019, because the card on itself, Ohtani on the front, Matsui on the back.
Yep.
That's a good card. It was probably worth a couple of $100 or something like that.
I've seen with rip cards, most of them, ripping it is the play. I mean, the card that you have isn't that great. You might as well take a chance.
Yeah.
There are some that have driven people crazy trying to figure out what to do. And it sounds like this one was one of them. But yeah, it's hard, because I have seen you kind of open it up and it's kind of a dud. I mean, usually the drop-off isn't horrendous.
Yeah.
But
it's not like a card of Jeff or something.
I had
It's
actually not heard that story. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that pretty cool?
But I have been with people who have agonized over whether to rip a card or not.
I mean, and that really, when you talk about all of this stuff now, when you're talking about the card market of, you've got all of these different avenues, whether, no matter if you like the sport or not. If you don't like this sport, you may like this sport. If you don't like this sport, maybe you do like the WWE, or you do like UCF or UFC, or you like this or that, or you like Disney. I mean, for the females or whatever. But I mean, that's just the craziness of the market, and these cards are just going crazy. What you going to ask, Jeff?
So Dennis Rodman's getting inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I could just imagine getting a Dennis Rodman wrestling card.
That would be fantastic.
Guarantee you they'll make one.
So you don't have to be like into the sport, but you like Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Just the personality, because he's like pop century.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what's so cool about the cards. Not only just the cards themselves being cool, but actually the stuff there. So give us the address of the shop.
So
both shops now, I guess.
I'm not sure I know the actual address in Orlando. I can tell you where it is. I've been there.
Turkey Neck.
No, it's not Turkey Neck.
Turkey Lake.
Turkey Lake area there. No, 11939 Panama City Beach Parkway. That is Back Beach Road for you locals. Right there on Highway 98 next to Florida Linen is the shop address here in Panama City Beach. We're 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday and noon to 6 on Sundays. Then in Orlando, basically think of it this way. If you know where the Big Wheel and Icon Park and Universal is, right across the interstate, not the street, from the Big Wheel.
Yeah.
So right there in the Turkey Lake area. It's a little strip mall there right next to the giant Walmart. Very convenient to Sand Lake and I-4. So very high trafficked area, but shop setup there is great. If you've been to our shop here and you walk in there, it will look identical, save for the little area where the coins are. It doesn't have that little jut out. But yeah, and then of course you can always catch us streaming all the time. Probably got 4 or 5 streams going right now at eBay Live. Just look for PCB Hobby. Always going on coins, always comics, TCGs, sports cards, and every now and then we'll put up toys that we get in the collection.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun.
When you're getting, like, I don't want to say a baseball or a baseball card or whatever, and you go to a Major League Baseball game, what are the chances of you getting a signature from a player out of the dugout?
It's not.
It
Depends. Major League's probably a little tougher. They're a little more locked up on it like that. Minor league happens all the time. We have a lot of guys who will get Bowman cards of people that are going to play over for the Wahoos or at the Wahoo Stadium or over in Biloxi, whatever. They'll take them over there. They get them signed all the time. Now, you still need to get those authenticated for reselling. A lot of people just want them for themselves.
Yeah.
Major League, I'd say it's probably a little more difficult, but minor league happens all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys love signing. Some of them, it's the first time they've signed their name, they love it.
And before we're going to go ahead and take a call real quick.
Yeah.
He's got a question. We got Terry on the line. Terry, what's your question today for Brian?
Hey, Brian, it's Terry Lamb. I talked to you before. I was trying to see if you were interested or were maybe trying to get any of these Bo Jackson Battle Arena cards because they are just blowing up and there's no place to buy them right now. And I'm trying to find out if you are bringing any in.
They're insanely popular. I'll be honest with you, Terry. So because they kind of do that independently, that's not someone we have a factory kind of allocation deal with. And as such, we would have to go out on the secondary market to get them. And the problem has been they've been so inflated because they are hard to find. For what I'd have to pay for them, I'd then have to mark it up, for us to make a little money on it and keep the lights on. And it would be so kind of exorbitant. I really don't want to do that because it kind of feels like gouging.
Yeah.
That being said, they're already hard enough to find with that, but that's been a little bit of the reason we've been a little wary to carry them because they would have been so expensive. I just didn't want to put our customers kind of in that bad position. But if the situation arises and I can find some, we will definitely get them because they're crazy popular.
So what is Battle Arena?
Well, the new set is actually coming out end of May, so maybe I get an allocation. That's going to be the Tecmo set, and these things are going to be crazy.
So what they do, Jeff, they kind of make them, they're just fun and kind of art card, but this Tecmo Bowl tie-in, think about us, how many hours we played Tecmo Bowl. I mean, this is one of the coolest things ever. Again, it won't be something I can pick up allocation for, but it is something we're going to scour and try and get where we can, but always with the mind to we don't want to put the consumer in a bad situation with having to really pay what I would consider to be overpaying for stuff like that. So if I can come across them, Terry, I guarantee I'm going to carry them. I just can't say it's going to be very easy because they're very popular.
Yeah, I've driven from Tallahassee to Pensacola to try to find some.
That's right.
They're hard to find.
They 100% are.
Well, Terry, we sure do appreciate the call, my friend. Thanks for listening so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day. When we come back, we will dive into the last little bit about this bracket. We got to get Brian to tell us who's going to make it to the Final Four and win the championship. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
That's the buzzer. And on Hard Rock Bet, buzzer beaters mean bonus bets. Every time a team you bet to win or cover hits a game-winning buzzer beater, you score a $25 bonus bet, an extra $25 on top of your winnings. Just opt in and bet $5 on any team. As many teams as you want, all tourney. Win bonus bets at the buzzer, only on Hard Rock Bet.
Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
You're not dreaming. Krispy Kreme's new donut collection brings together the crunching joy of Oreo cookies and the melt-in-your-mouth magic of Krispy Kreme. Introducing the new Golden Oreo and Chocolate Oreo donuts, plus the classic Oreo cookies and cream donut. These donuts are 100% fun and craveable. Krispy Kreme donuts in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme donuts since 1937, where you get them hot.
ESPN Northwest Florida advertisers get results.
Hi, this is Todd from PCB Hobby on Back Beach. Advertising with ESPN Northwest Florida has been a wonderful experience. Their staff is very knowledgeable and friendly. If you want to talk with customers like you never thought possible, reach out to the team at ESPN Northwest Florida, 850-215-4468.
Get results for your business. Call ESPN Northwest Florida, 850-215-4468.
The sports world is a battlefield of opinions.
Auburn's got a serious problem.
And every day, Paul Wilson brings the heat, the fire, and the definitive take.
They are not finding ways to get him the football.
Don't just follow the headlines.
But they lost 2 road games, and these 2 teams are ranked number 5 and number 6.
Be a part of the story on the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your spot for all things college basketball. But tonight, the NBA, Orlando Magic, here in about 12 to 13 minutes, going to be tip-off. Don't forget to listen right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. If you want to call in, give us a shout-out, 805 or 850-215-6290, the Red 7T's phone line. Real quick, I know we're going to get your picks, but I got to talk about it for just a moment. Tonight at 8 o'clock, and if you want to watch it, you can go to ESPN Plus, Gulf Coast College.
Oh, let's go,
Commodores. They won in overtime their first-round game. They play tonight at 8 o'clock. And they will be playing against Daytona, the team that they lost to in the region. And so Coach Lane Blue and those guys, they had a great game the other night. They were up big for a little while, but Brunswick came back and tied it. And then Gulf Coast had to go down and tie it with about 4 seconds to go, and they ended up winning the game, so it's exciting.
Was this Brunswick, Georgia, or Maine?
I think Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia. Okay. So, but either way, we're pulling for them guys, and
Brunswick
I'm
bowling
excited.
alley.
It don't even matter. Brunswick Stew is who it was because they're done. But, I mean, when you look at it, I'm excited about it. So tomorrow, if all things work good and they win tonight, or even if they don't, we're going to try to have Coach Blue on via phone call, and that's going to be a great time. So, Brian, you were out of pocket with all the traveling that you've been doing, and you didn't get to fill out your bracket with us, but give us your rundown of what you think is going to happen. I mean, obviously, you've got your picks in. I'm sure you've probably done some brackets.
Actually, I haven't this year.
Okay.
Let me real quick shout out to Notre Dame, which I never say in my life. They just upset Ohio State in the women's tournament because they have my favorite player in women's basketball right now, Hannah Hidalgo.
Mm-hmm.
Remember her next year. Super stud.
Is she graduating, or is she going to go somewhere else?
I think she's able to go WNBA. I want to say she's a junior this year. I may be wrong. She may have another year. Without Juju Watkins this year, Hidalgo was the one I was watching. UConn's got some great players, too.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in because they won, and she's amazing.
And anytime on this show, if Ohio State loses, we definitely want to highlight it. So that's a great thing.
I mean,
yeah,
the only time you can pull for Notre Dame is when they're playing Ohio State.
Yeah, by the way, Ohio State, they've lost everything except for football, I believe. So that's a great thing.
All right, men's tournament.
Yeah.
Looking forward here, I mean, obviously the East is loaded with chalk.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, Kansas going down is the only thing that's been off there. It'd be so easy to take St. John's here, but I actually think Duke's going to get through them.
Yeah.
But I think Duke's going out to Michigan State. I'm going to take Michigan State to come out of the East.
Okay.
So I kind of like them. And Jeff's right. UConn is the shakiest, too.
Yeah, they are.
That's left. Over in the West, I got Arizona getting through Arkansas. I'm not an Arkansas believer. They've burned me.
Yeah.
I hate the Texas-Purdue game because I really don't like Purdue and Texas. I don't know.
What do you have against Purdue?
I just don't.
They've done nothing to anybody.
I know. They won.
They're in the Big Ten.
They won the tournament. I get that. I'm not as sold on them. So I think Arizona's coming out of there. So I'll take Arizona to come out of the West. Now, let's say Purdue gets by Texas, but I think Arizona gets past them. Down in the South, which is the craziest region at this point, Iowa, Nebraska, will probably be extremely boring.
Yeah.
But I think Nebraska's a fun team because
They'll get 'em.
they're just a team that kind of knows how to win this year. So I kind of like Nebraska through there. I think Illinois-Houston's going to be a great game. I'm going to say Houston gets through there, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And I'll take Houston to get past Nebraska in a tighter game than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Houston getting through. And then we've got Tennessee and Iowa State. I left the other one for last. Tennessee and Iowa State. Iowa State's playing good ball, and I can't pull for Tennessee. Y'all know that. So Iowa State gets through. I love Alabama, not against Michigan. However, not so fast, my friend. I'm going to take Iowa State to beat Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
And go through. So I'm going to have Houston and Iowa State, Michigan State, and Arizona. So 1-1 seed for me. Arizona against Iowa State, I'll take Arizona. Michigan State versus Houston, I'm going to take Houston. And I'm going to say Houston finally
gets it done.
Kelvin
Sampson.
So watch it, folks. Illinois is going to beat Houston by 30. But I think Houston finally gets it done because they've been so close so many times over the last 45 years, and they're going to get it done.
I just wonder, with that being said, I wonder how many people realistically picked Houston. I know for us, we didn't have a lot of people picking Houston. Obviously, with it being on the same side as Florida, we live in the state of Florida, so that's a big deal. Wanted to say this as far as our brackets go. Jeff's been compiling them. We are going to give the update tomorrow during the show, and we're going to let him go forward and tell all about it tomorrow. So if you filled out your bracket and you want to know how good you've done, because I've had some of you that I've seen message me on Facebook and that kind of stuff, and if I got back to you, good. If I didn't, I will get back to you. But tomorrow is going to be the day where we're going to let everybody know kind of where they stand and kind of where they are. Some of you, you're asking, is there any way we could take pictures and all that? And we might put it all up on the wall and take a big picture. But I just want to be, I want it to be a little bit of a, thriller here. But knowing that Duke is still in it, and Duke and Florida were our two top teams that were picked the most.
Michigan is in there. Michigan's in the conversation. There's a lot of people picking Michigan. I'd say after that it was really Arizona and probably Houston. And I picked Arizona, by the way, against Houston. But I mean, can I drop names that were really doing well?
No.
So we're going to save it up for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're saving it all for tomorrow. That's the only problem. That's the only problem I have with Jeff is like he wants to get everything in on Monday.
I can tell you,
kills me.
Can I open the present?
The fact that I have Michigan not going to the Final Four and Michigan State going means I'm not getting invited to Ann Arbor anytime soon.
No.
And I can think of one local friend of mine who might not speak to me for a while.
Well, and that's what's going to be crazy is could we possibly, and this would make all of us throw up for sure. I mean, is if Michigan played Michigan State in the championship.
That'd be awful.
No. I mean, I don't know. It'd be like the state of Michigan would be so exhausted with saying how great they are.
The only thing worse than that would probably be Illinois Purdue. I mean, I would just not even watch.
That'd be a pretty rough game.
That would be pretty rough. Yeah, but again, if we don't have an orange team. And we don't have – I mean, I'm just pulling for a non-Big Ten team to win it. Even though I picked Michigan to win it, I picked Michigan because I thought that's – you wanted me to pick who I thought was going to win, and that's who I picked. But I do not – let me repeat it. I do not want a Big Ten team to win.
Let me tell you how crazy this year has been in sports. Indiana won the football national championship and did not make the basketball tournament. Did you ever think that phrase would be
Never. Never.
It's crazy.
And now we've got Illinois.
And Mississippi State is back in baseball, baby. Tied atop the SEC.
Tell us what Bama did this weekend against Florida.
They beat them. And
swept them convincingly.
And the thing is that they also threw a no-hitter. So, and we've got,
nothing.
You know what I mean? It's a really cool time for all of the sports right now.
What is going on with LSU baseball?
Oh, they've hit the downfall. The thing is that every time we talked about basketball, Jeff was like, "Oh yeah, we don't have a good basketball, but baseball season's here." And now he's the crickets over here. There's nothing. I'm never.
And Brian Alston at Lone Star Boyle House gave up on Texas basketball. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
And I'll tell you what. Texas baseball is still probably, in my mind, the odds-on favorite to win in baseball. They're that good.
Well, he said that's the next national title that they'll win is that. And so that's why with Texas, and I know we talked about this earlier, when they are winning, you don't have the same taste of Cinderella. You have this almost entitled group of money men that support this organization.
J.R.
that
Ewing.
When they win, the J.R. Ewings and all of those guys. Yeah. But for me, it's going to be an interesting thing. It would not surprise me. Would it be surprising if next week we're still talking about Texas? That's going to be what's
crazy. It'd be surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, their road is a lot longer than I can even imagine.
Kevin Durant. That's the last time we were talking about Texas in
basketball.
Yeah, Kevin Durant.
Pretty much.
That's really it.
We were talking about Greg Oden from Ohio State that year.
Yeah, that's nothing. But either way, we're going to stop talking about Ohio State because I know how you like to talk about them. But either way, thank you so much for listening today. This has been a great show, Brian. Thank you for getting here. We're glad you made it back. And, I just hope you're wrong. I don't want to see Houston winning. I'm sorry. I know. But I want to see one of these SEC teams get it. I'm an SEC homer. I'm sorry. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk a lot more about college basketball. You've been listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
This just in. Get the latest sports news, scores, and updates